Hey, welcome to episode 1 of the round table. We're finally into um act like single digits, but yeah, we've done it. So yeah, welcome to episode 1. Today on the round table we have a very special guest today. We have Parker. Say hi.
Hey,
Yeah.
how's it going? How's it going, guys?
So as you've probably noticed from the fact that you can see our faces right now, we're going to be we're going to be putting this on YouTube. So this is now, we're not just audio anymore. We're going to have the audio episodes too up on YouTube. But real quick, am I talking a bit too loud?
No, no, I think
Yeah.
you're coming through pretty good.
So yeah, okay. So this is the round table. This is where the rules are. We do it one take and there's no script, which we've broken both of those rules kind of, but it's whatever. So Parker, tell us a little bit about yourself. Maybe just like a little bit of your interests and stuff, because we've had a lot of like diverse interests, people with diverse interests on the show. So kind of go through kind of what some of your favorite stuff, like genres and like, what's the word? Ways to consume media. There you go. I don't know.
Okay, I like that. Interests in consuming media. That's what you want me to focus on? Like what's my
Like,
favorite media?
not like whether you like books or video games or movies a bit more or something, and what kind of, like, specifically what kind of company or like, why can I not think of the word, brands and like, I know you like Zelda, so yeah, you just go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I think when it comes to music, one of my favorite artists is Daft Punk.
They're very good. I was so sad when they broke up.
I was pretty devastated when the news came out in February that they were breaking up. I mean, it's almost been 8 years since they did Random Access Memories. That was a long time ago. So I was hoping we'd get one more album from them, but it kind of is what it is. Video games, to your point, I love The Legend of Zelda. I love Super Mario, but Zelda's like my top. Any Zelda game, I'm down for it. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to play it. And I just love how epic it is.
Yeah, and is that kind of off of nostalgia that did you used to play it when you were a kid, or did you just kind of get into it one day?
Definitely when I was a kid. I started off with Super Mario first. I didn't play Zelda when I was real little. It was probably when I was about 7 or 8 years old that I first played Zelda, and it was for the Super Nintendo. It was A Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. That was the very first Zelda I played. I didn't play the very first Zelda on the original Nintendo, the NES.
Yeah.
Probably till I was like 12 or 13, actually, till I was a teenager. Because then when I was a little older, like maybe 9 or 10, it was Ocarina of Time had just come out. Like I remember being a little kid and that came out. Wind Waker, right? Twilight Princess, all those games. So Zelda's my favorite video game. When it comes to movies, you know what's interesting? I like really old movies. I love Star Wars. I love the Marvel universe. But my older brother, he studied film production at school, and he made independent movies. He and some of his friends would get together. They'd write movies. They'd make short movies. And he was a screenwriter, so he wrote lots of movies. but he got me into movies from France in the 1960s.
Oh.
So they call it French New Wave.
Mm.
Is kind of the era of filmmaking, and they modeled it after like 1940s crime noir American gangster movies. So it's
Oh
like
yeah.
almost envision if French people were trying to replicate American gangster movies from the 40s.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Yeah, that's super cool. I've never really definitely for kind of I definitely like newer movies, but Star Wars is probably my all-time favorite. Like some of the earliest memories I have is watching the remastered um original trilogy. But yeah, so um with Zelda, I feel like I really like Zelda, and I would say I'm a Zelda fan. It's just like the only experience I really have with it is Breath of the Wild, though.
Okay.
Or like, did you see on the Switch? You can get if you have a Switch Online membership, you can get for free the old games. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
played
You
a little bit of I think it's called Link's Adventure, Legend of Zelda
and
Link's Adventure, or
I
I'm not
think that's
sure.
the is that the I think that's the second one.
Um, I know it's on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, the Super Nintendo. Okay. So it wouldn't be the original NES from the 80s. Okay.
No.
Um, Link's Adventure. I'm trying to think about in the chronology where that fits in.
Yeah, I'm not completely 100% on the name, but I didn't finish it. But other than those two games, Breath of the Wild and maybe it was Link's Awakening, who knows? No, it was not a Link's Awakening. But I just have it all jumbled. But that's
That's one
the
of the that's one of the
yeah,
older games though, is
yeah.
Link's
I
Awakening.
know that's one of the older games, but I don't think it was that one. But that's the extent of my Legend of Zelda knowledge, but I still really like it because Breath of the Wild is just an awesome game. It's like one of the perfect, like it's almost like a perfect game. It's so crazy, but like yeah, it's just so cool. Just like every aspect of that game is like well executed. What's kind of your
Have
experience with
you?
Breath of the Wild? Oh yeah, good.
Well, I was just gonna say, have you played Skyward Sword?
No, but I plan on playing it because my other friend Cameron is very into is that's his favorite Zelda game, so I'm preparing to play that with him.
It they just remastered it. They
Oh, they
released it
just
on the
released it?
Switch. Yep.
Oh, okay.
So you can buy it on the Switch now. What makes that one interesting is supposedly, according to the developers, the executive producers, that is the very first Zelda before every other game. So in the actual
Yeah.
chronology of the story,
That's the other thing I
Skyward
know
Sword
about.
takes
Yeah.
place before every other Zelda.
Yeah, that's the other thing I know about the Legend of Zelda series, that the timeline is very complicated.
And
Um,
they constantly evolve it with each and every game that they release. I mean, if you go on YouTube, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of theories of what is the true chronology timeline of all the Zelda games. How do
mhm.
they all fit in? What is cool though is like in Breath of the Wild, there are Easter eggs from
Like
Ocarina of Time.
all three timelines, I think, because it
Yep.
has Ocarina of Time. Because have you played the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity game? Have you played that? No.
Not yet.
Um, Minor spoiler? Not really. Okay, warning, skip to whenever I'm done speaking about this. Um, but there is it's not really a spoiler. They show it in the trailers, but like a time traveling character plays the Song of Time, it's called, I think. The
Oh
one that
yeah.
makes you go
Yep.
back in time, that one. So they have they have Twilight Princess references. I know more about Zelda than I thought I did, I guess. But
You do.
um Yeah, but there's like reference to all sorts of stuff. But yeah, so I think I saw a theory that's like um it's game theory. If people have watched his channel, he's a super cool channel. Go check him out. But he said that the Hyrule Warriors game that like combines all three timelines is the prequel to Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild has like stuff from all of it, so it's not just one timeline. I don't know, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, I knew that Hyrule Warriors was a prequel to Breath of the Wild. That was pretty well advertised from the get-go. Hey, this is what happened before Breath of the Wild. It's like the story behind it, right?
Well, no. So I meant this was way before they announced Age of Calamity, because there's several Hyrule Warriors games. Hyrule Warriors games. So the Age of Calamity one, this was before it was announced. The Age of Calamity one is a prequel, but then there's some time stuff. Let's spoiler again, there's a couple diverging timelines and stuff. There's all sorts of nonsense over there. But he was saying the like there was a Hyrule Warriors game that was like Toon Link and Young Link and regular Link, and then all the three timelines combined and characters from each of them like all in the same game. So then he said that one would connect them all, and that's why there's Easter eggs of all timelines in Breath of the Wild.
Okay. Got it. That makes sense. I think if I were to recommend games to go back and play, number one is Ocarina of Time. I mean, that was a groundbreaking game when it came out. It changed the course of video games after. It also set the tone for pretty much every Zelda after. Sorry, I'm fighting to sneeze. Sorry, fighting to sneeze. Yeah, so it set the tone for all the other Zeldas. I like Twilight Princess quite a bit as well. Definitely more of a mature, kind of darker feel. I heard Zelda.
Twilight Princess is like weirdly dark and like creepy at some points. So that's kind of cool. I might want to try that one. That one looks pretty cool. Just because of some.
I feel like Skyward Sword is like a happy medium between, because everyone complained with Wind Waker, it's too cartoony, it's too happy, it's too like childish, if you will. And then some people complained, hey, Twilight Princess is too dark, it's too, kind of creepy. So with Skyward Sword, they tried to kind of strike that middle ground of, hey, it's still got some mature feel to it, but it's also not really dark. Because to me, Zelda is not so much trying to be this dark, ominous game. It's more of, to me, this mythical feel. It's the feeling of like, it's a legend, right? Like it's
or a really cool idea. Yeah. A really cool idea I like what they do, especially with Breath of the Wild, is that Link is like he's like shorter than everybody, and like that's really crazy. Most of the enemies he fights are much bigger than him, and that's really cool. Like, and I think Breath of the Wild is another one that strikes a really good balance between kind of lighthearted at some points, but then also can be a bit more darker and stressful. Like there's all these charming villages. Like the world design and world building in Breath of the Wild is just amazing. And just like to be in this charming village with all these characters, which like a painstaking amount of detail is put into every single character and all their voice lines and stuff. And then switching over to like something like Ganon's castle, where it's overrun with these high-powered threats and like loot and stuff, and that's really cool.
I even think the forest where the Master Sword is at, when you have to follow the wind, like you have the torch and the flame telling you where you need to go, the music in that, it's kind of creepy. It's a little bit ominous and scary to play that part of the game. But I just think that what I like about Zelda and the way it strikes that balance is it brings you into the world. It creates tension. Like, I mean, there were times where I could feel it in my shoulders. I'm like, I'm tense. This is serious.
I still get my adrenaline still gets pumping when I hear the dun 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 dun.
Mm-hmm. That's so fun. But then to your point, you go into villages, you meet these characters that are like just everyday people.
And buying a house and petting dogs and giving them food. And that's just...
giving them treats, and then they follow you around. I like too how when you cut the chickens, they still attack you. Like, that's just, you know where that started? That started in A Link to the Past.
Oh,
so the very first Zelda that I played, you'd cut a chicken, and then the chickens would all start flying in to attack you. That's the game it started in, was that one. And it's just carried through the whole series. Yeah, so I'm curious to see when they're going to release Breath of the Wild 2. I know that's not the official title. They haven't announced it, but that's what everyone's calling it. I've heard there's rumors that they're going to release a Switch Pro for this upcoming holiday season. There's been rumors that they're going to release it with that. But I don't know. I mean, it's been 2 years since we saw that trailer. The very first Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. It's been 2 years now. And it's like, we're now 4 years since Breath of the Wild came out.
Yeah.
Crazy.
2 years since the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer came out?
It's been 2 years now.
That's weird. But
it's been a long time.
Yeah. And it feels like when the first trailers for Breath of the Wild came out, it was never really like on my radar because I was too busy playing Fortnite.
Nice.
So it's just like, and then I started getting into it and it looks really cool. And I was like, wow, this was so cool. And then cut to like 2 years later, it's like Breath of the Wild, it seems like almost like a classic game now. It's like an instant classic. It's just so crazy. And honestly, I feel like Breath of the Wild is one of like the perfect RPG game because just like an RP, like how it's like the best RPG game I've played is that like there is a story. There's always a story to a Zelda or to Breath. There's always a story to Breath of the Wild. It's just that's never the best part. It's like it's always along the journey and like just wasting hours trying to find chickens for that crazy guy in Kakariko Village instead of going to actually beat Ganon is just like such a funny idea and what makes that game so amazing.
Yeah, it's ironic because you'll be talking to main characters in the storyline and they try to give you the sense of urgency, like you need to go quickly to this place, and the game doesn't force you to. You can run around cutting chickens, making them upset, or completing all those side quests to make villagers happy. I think Breath of the Wild, to your point, was an instant classic. Almost from day one, people were blown away at how expansive it was. I mean, the open world, that was what made it unique for Zelda, was the open world feel.
And it was also just like, I'm playing or watching someone play Breath of the Wild, and then just looking at like a cliff and seeing how the cliff has ledges and like little dips and stuff. Somebody had to go in there and sculpt and texture that. And then it's so big. It's such a big map. And then there's just so much stuff, and like the environments are so crazy. And the combat is so satisfying. Like it's just like it like a lot of times it doesn't get you like super pumped up, especially if you're just fighting a bunch of bokoblins. Which another thing about Breath of the Wild, the monsters, I just love them. They're like some of my favorite monster designs ever. Just like a bokoblin is like a generic goblin, but it's like has a pig and has like horns and stuff, and that's just like the design. And like if you even like, have you ever been like walking around and then you'll see like bokoblins around like a campfire, and then there's like one bokoblin that's like talking and telling stories to the other ones.
I love that. And like you sneak up on them, you can watch them talking to each other, and like they'll start dancing, right? Like when they're
Uh-huh.
having a conversation.
Or you'll see
I,
like they're hunched down and they're like waving and gesturing to each other, and that's super funny. Or like, have you and the thing is, you can't really spoil Breath of the Wild. You can talk about it as much as you want. There's always going to be something left. Um,
yes,
so have you met Kilton? He's like a monster trader.
yes, but it's at night, right?
Yeah. So he gives you the Bokoblin mask, and that's
Now,
just
have you bought that?
so yeah, I've gotten that. Um,
Okay.
and I gotten all the monster, but like that part of it's just so cool, and just like reversing it and then like having them be all surprised when you start attacking them or something. And that's just so crazy. And I think one of the funniest things that ever happened to me was like I threw a bomb down at the Bokoblin camp, and then one ran up and kicked it away like a soccer ball. And I was like,
Really?
and yeah, and missed it. And I was like, at that point, like it was, I was still in the plateau, I think. At that point, I was like, this game's crazy. Have you ever had anything super crazy happen to you in Breath of the Wild?
I mean, I think anytime you fight the Linnell, it's just crazy. I
Lionels.
have yet, or the
Yeah.
Lionels, yeah,
Those are like a
yeah, the
super big
Lionels.
challenge. Like when you're starting out off of the plateau, I remember I was right off the plateau and I saw one for the first time. I was just like, I was like frozen in fear because that thing looks so gnarly. Um, and I was like, "What is that? It's like a centaur thing. Is like a horse, a weird looking horse." And then it starts running at you, and then the music starts playing.
And I mean, it's quick. Like
Yeah,
they
it's like
run
so
super
big
fast.
and so quick, and then one hits you most of the time.
Yep. I've actually never beaten one yet. In
Oh
all
yeah,
my playtime, I've always like avoided them.
yeah. And even I only ever started like actually fighting them on like my second playthrough. Um, which is the crazy thing that happened to me is that we had our Switch broke, and
Hmm.
then we had to send it in to get fixed, and then our all of our data was wiped because we hadn't backed it up. So my
Oh
Breath of the Wild
no.
save was gone.
Oh
And the
no.
crazy thing is I had just gone into I had just beaten Ganon,
Hmm.
and then it got deleted. Which honestly I was probably gonna restart it anyway, but
Still, it's different when you choose to restart versus being forced to restart. Like being forced, it's disappointing. It sucks. You're like, man, I have to do this all over again. Versus if you choose to redo it, you're like, hey, I've enjoyed the game and I want to play it a second time.
oh, have you um done Terrytown?
Refresh my memory because it's now been a little
Um
while since I
oh
played.
yeah. So it's like a after you buy your house, if you've done that, there's a guy that
Yep, I've
heads
done the
up into
house.
the there's a guy that heads up to the top right of the map, the top right corner, they
Yes.
call it Akala, and there's that island, and then you have to help build the town.
Okay, I never did that. Did you build the
Oh,
town?
that side quest is the like best side quest in the game. It's
Really?
just so crazy
You recommend that I
because
do it?
yeah, definitely. Um, it's like, well, first of all, there's actually gains about it. Is that you can get the cheapest arrows and stuff there. You get really good deals. You can sleep for free, I think. But other than that, it's like as you build this town, each character you might have met on your journey through the divine beasts and stuff. Like I know for one of the characters, I'd met them when I was doing the elephant, and I thought it was just weird that they're looking for I won't spoil it because but they just said something about like their job, and I was like, that's weird, that's random. And then as soon as he said that he needed that certain person with that certain job and that they lived in um Zora's domain, I was like, I know that guy. And that's just the craziest thing. It's like you kind of build out the real story, and
Mhm.
you can look however you want. You can use whatever weapons you want. You could fight people. You could fight Ganon with a stick if you wanted, or a bunch of chickens. Um, but it's so crazy, and that's why I think it's like the perfect role playing video game. It's like you kind of choose the story. Yeah. I think anything else you want to talk about, kind of Breath of the Wild or Zelda?
Well, I was actually going to shift gears with you a little bit and talk
Oh yeah.
RPG. There is an RPG that you may not have heard of it, but I remember when it first came out. So it's for Super Nintendo, and I don't think Nintendo has yet re-released it on the Super Nintendo Online service. It's a fan favorite. My generation of kids growing up, I know we're all clamoring for them to just finally pull the trigger and do it. It's called not Legend. It was Super Mario RPG: The Legend of Seven Stars.
I think I've
And
heard of
it
that.
was
Well, no, I think I was thinking of something else, but yeah, kind of tell me about it. I don't think I've heard about it. I heard it without
so it
heard of
was
it.
yeah, it was developed by Square Enix. So Square Enix does Final Fantasy series, if you've
Yeah.
heard of the Final Fantasy series. Okay.
Mhm.
That was their claim to fame. And they developed the Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars for Nintendo. And it's a top-down view, but it's like a three-quarter top-down view. So it's not like the OG Pokemon on Game Boys where it was just straight top-down. It's almost like you're looking down on them, but a three-quarter angle as well.
Kind
And
of like
they created
the Final Fantasy kind of perspective. Yeah.
Yes, yep. So they were replicating the Final Fantasy feel. And what was really neat is Square came up with a bunch of original characters for this game that Nintendo had not come up with before. So there's like this marshmallow looking character. There's this guy, his name's Gino, and he almost kind of looks like a wizard, but he has like a
Oh
cape.
yeah. Is he like the one with like the curly nose? Yeah.
Yep. And he's
Um.
super powerful.
mm,
And then obviously Toad's in it, Princess Peach is in it, Bowser's in it. But that game, again, it's like they took Final Fantasy and Mario and mashed it together. Yet another one of those games that just changed the course of video game history. I'm very partial to Nintendo. That goes without saying. But that was a groundbreaking game. And I remember playing through it with my brothers when we were growing up, and we were blown away. It was like, this game is so cool. The humor in it was brilliant. To this day, there are like memes or clips from it that I'll watch, and I just laugh because they had such a great sense of humor that they put into the game.
And with me, I didn't play Nintendo until the Switch came out. I'd always grown up on Minecraft and Lego Star Wars, and stuff like that, and that was just that was it for me up until I was like 9 years old. That's all I would play, and that was just amazing. Like that was just what I did. I didn't really know about other stuff. And then once we got a PlayStation and a Switch, just like everything expanded and opened up, and then yeah. So yeah, I haven't really. up until that point, I always thought Nintendo was a little weird. It had like weird characters, like Kirby would always come to mind, and like Mario, because for some reason I never really learned about what Mario really did. I only knew that he was like a plumber and he's Italian, but he was
Hmm.
made by a Japanese game company. So I just didn't understand and thought it was weird. And then Kirby, which is just a ball with a face. Um,
Isn't that funny?
yeah. And then like with the few Nintendo games that I did play before we got a Switch, like I remember I was at a friend's house and he had a Wii and they played one of the Kirby games on the Wii. And I was like, what's even happening on the screen? This looks like it's all pink and like stars flying everywhere. And I'm like, not for me. And
What do
then
you
I
think was
go
the game that did it for you? Where you're like, hey, Nintendo
Breath
is
of
actually pretty cool.
Breath of the Wild.
It was really
Yeah, because that's what we got. We got
okay.
Breath of the Wild with the Switch that we got, and then after that, I was like, these guys are crazy. But other than that Kirby game, I'd got over to a friend's and then played like Smash Bros. And then that was just like a whole other ball game. Um, oh, we're right about at the 30-minute mark. So
Oh
would you
wow. Okay.
mind? Yeah, would you mind if the time just flies by, doesn't it?
It
Um,
does when you're talking about fun stuff.
what do you want to do a segment? I don't have my dice with me. Oh no. But today's random segment, we're going to be doing a highlight of the week. So, just this
Okay.
past week, is there anything that you're super appreciative for, or anyone you're super appreciative for, or anything super cool that happened to you over this week? Just a sort of feel gooder.
Oh, so growing up, my family and I were pretty big basketball fans,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been following the playoffs for the Phoenix Suns because this is the first time in 11 years that the Suns are in the playoffs,
Oh yeah.
and they've won 6 games in a row. So last night, I actually watched the Suns play the Denver Nuggets with my little brother, and they're now up 3-0 in the series. And I got to say, like Chris Paul, Devin Booker, the whole team really balanced. I was a little kid when Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan played. I was 5 years old when that series happened. And I remember being in kindergarten and watching it, and Jordan beat the Suns, right? I mean, it's history now.
Yeah.
But that was, I think, the highlight of my week this week is watching the Suns continue their playoff run and doing it so well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's super cool. Probably the highlight for me this week was this Monday, I started going back to school for summer school for the first time since the beginning of 2020.
Do they
Um,
have you going in person to school,
yeah,
or are
I
you
was
doing it
going
at
in
home?
person for the first time in a year and a half or something. And that was just crazy, but it was so fun seeing everybody. And then, like, I don't know, it was just really nice being around people again. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Do you
Um,
have some good friends at school that you like
yeah,
to
yeah.
hang out with?
Mhm. Um, yeah, it's just so crazy seeing all of the people. It's like really, I had never seen anybody my age in person except a couple of family members since like the beginning of 2020. Um,
Yeah, it's been almost a year and a half now.
yeah, so that's pretty crazy. So yeah, that was probably the highlight of my week.
And
Okay.
for summer school, I was just gonna say, are you what
Oh, I'm
class
not
are
in
you
for
taking?
anything. I'm taking French. I'm not in for anything bad, I swear. I didn't flunk. I didn't flunk.
You know what?
It's a
I
very
did summer
complicated
school.
situation.
Yeah, I did summer school when I was in college. I did summer school for physics
Mm,
because I wanted to get ahead of my degree program. I knew I had to take physics. I said, hey, I want to make sure I get a little bit ahead of my program. Yeah, I took physics in the summer, and that was really tough. French, I think I'd rather do French. Something enjoyable.
I feel like when I was being taught languages, because I go to a classical arts school, so they teach about they basically use a style of teaching that's like classical, like classical. That's all I could say about it, really. But
Yeah.
so they teach us languages pretty much every year. So for the past couple of years, like 3 years, I've been doing Latin. Before that, and since like since third grade, I've been doing Spanish. So, and I felt like I never was really able to learn to speak a language really well, which with Latin, that's not really a problem. But um, even with Spanish, I really struggled just because I felt like there was so much other stuff that felt more important to me that I had to be focusing on, especially when it came to middle school. But in summer school, where it's a bit more chill, I feel like I'm able to learn a lot faster. And so yeah, that's been really cool.
Nice.
What's weird is some kids right now, I'm calling them out. I see you. They're probably watching my podcast right now while I talk about summer school. So I just lost my reputation of being a big tough guy, which
yeah, you can still be a tough guy.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe just kick it off a little bit. I have a question. I was gonna do so when I say I have a question, I mean I have the list of questions that I've been overdoing each episode. So
Oh,
like I made this list thinking it would last me like 5 episodes or something. I blew them all first episode. Um, so
wow.
I've just been reusing them. So I was gonna do favorite superhero slash villain, but who is your favorite superhero, favorite character, and your favorite villain in Nintendo?
Oh, okay. So favorite characters got to be Link,
Mm-hmm.
without a doubt. He's a hero that I think everybody can identify with. To your point, he's kind of a diminutive stature. He's not this big, strong character. He's like this small, skinny teenage kid. I really like his story. He doesn't ever say a word in any of the games.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need to. He's just so
I mean,
expressive with his.
like, well, I was gonna say he actually speaks in Breath of the Wild, but if you think about it, maybe he's just so good at body language, he can just convey his thoughts with his face.
Yeah, that's it.
That's just it. That's the lore.
That's what I like about him. Now villains. That's a tough one because I mean Ganon is a cool villain, but I don't necessarily think he's my favorite. I think I'm gonna go with Bowser. I really like the Bowser character. I really enjoyed Super Mario Odyssey. The way that they portrayed Bowser in that one was pretty fun. I think it's going to be Bowser, and it just goes back to, back in the day when the very first Mario came out. Like Bowser was this giant turtle with spikes on his shell,
Which,
and he looked
looking
pretty
back,
nasty.
well, even looking back, kind of to me, the pixel art for Bowser looks a lot less intimidating than like when they rendered him in 3D.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably for my favorite character, I don't even know. I have a feel like, I mean, like, I know that I've played Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, which are the two big Switch games, but I feel like I have a favorite character that's neither Link or Mario. I just can't remember. Oh, I know. It's Minecraft Steve. It's Minecraft Steve because he's technically a Nintendo character now. Now that he's in Smash Bros.
Oh, Minecraft. What do you like about Minecraft,
Minecraft
Steve?
Steve. No, it's just a joke. It's just a joke.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I thought you were saying you liked him.
probably, yeah, yeah. I really like the character development they did with Minecraft Steve over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like I feel like there's a third major Nintendo character that I'm thinking of that I can't remember. I don't know.
It's a tough
Favorite
one to
Nintendo
say, huh?
character. I do really like Link. Just his style and everything. I always felt like for a while until before I actually started looking at Zelda stuff, I always thought that you had to have a shield and a sword, or else there's no point. But then seeing him with one sword and doing the back sheath thing, I don't know. I thought that was really cool when I first saw it. But
Yeah, it is
and
cool.
even now in Breath of the Wild, I'll just take off my bow and my shield and then just use the Master Sword, just so I look even more cinematic.
Oh, I like that. That is cool.
Um, I'm just gonna say Link. I'm just gonna say Link's my favorite Nintendo character that I can think of at least at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, or maybe it's a Pokemon. I really like Pokemon.
Yeah. Pokemon, yet another
Which,
series that I grew up and just loved.
how are you gonna say what your favorite Pokemon is though?
Oh, I had Venusaur, without a doubt.
Maybe, yeah,
That's my
yeah.
favorite.
I don't know, but I feel like with each generation of starter, I at least love there at least one of them's my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like I really like Squirtle, and that's kind of watching the anime a little bit when I was little. That was always the coolest one for me. Um, I really like Oshawott and Rowlet. I don't know, but for
I
villains,
like, I
no,
was
go
just going
ahead.
to say, in the gold and silver generation, Totodile was my favorite starter.
hmm So what's really weird that happened at my school, back in 2016 or whatever, the summer of Pokemon Go.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
when we came back to school, it's like this underground Pokemon trading like business opened up. Um, and
At your
there's
school?
Pokemon, yeah, everywhere. There's Pokemon cards everywhere. People, because I feel like before then everyone had a whole bunch of Pokemon cards, just didn't want to show them to people because they thought they think we're weird or something. And then when
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon Go came out and it was like the biggest game ever on the phone, everyone's like wanted to bring their Pokemon cards to show that they were all with it. But I think how I started collecting Pokemon cards is that a friend loaned me like a Gumi or something, and then I kept trading up until I started buying like booster packs. Yeah, like every time I got some money, I'd spend $5 on booster packs. Um,
That's cool.
I think I have like 200 something Pokemon cards now. I don't know, but I learned a lot of Pokemon that way, and it's just like my dad can memorize like he can just point to like any car on the street and name what it is, which I couldn't even imagine knowing that many things. And then I think about how many Pokemon I know, which I probably have at least a couple generations worth seared into my brain.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
without a doubt. And I grew up playing, obviously, the original red and blue, or in Japan, it was red and green. I played gold and silver. I played ruby and sapphire. Uh, I mean, it was probably ruby and sapphire that I stopped playing really avidly until I just picked it back up with the Switch.
Oh
Um,
yeah, with Sword and Shield, that was really the first real one I played. I'd play like knockoff games or like if one of my friends watching from school, me and him always used to play Roblox, a Roblox Pokemon game called Brick Bronze, which was
Oh,
just like
cool.
someone in Roblox made a Pokemon game where you can just choose starters and catch Pokemon and stuff. That's how I really like learned how to play Pokemon games. But then the only real one I played was Sword. But I'm planning on playing the new ones that they've announced. Have you seen the what is it called? Arceus, Pokemon Arceus.
No, I haven't seen any trailers for it, but I heard about
Oh,
it.
yeah. So it's basically Pokemon Breath of the Wild.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but
Huh.
it's like the mechanic they introduced in like Let's Go Pikachu or whatever, where you see the Pokemon walking around, and which they implemented in the next couple games too. So it might even be permanent. I don't know, but
Hmm.
um, but now they're all walking around in like a Breath of the Wild world. Um, and you can run around. You can throw Pokeballs like as an actual like crosshair and throw them. And then you can battle them.
Whoa.
And it's all open world. You can control the camera. You can crouch and roll. And then I think it's supposed to be like ancient Sinnoh.
Okay.
I think Sinnoh, maybe not,
Okay.
but
Like the Sinnoh region.
yeah, the Sinnoh region, like ancient before they established any towns or anything. And you're supposed to be filling out the first Pokedex. And
Wow.
what's cool is that they have three different starters from three different generations. So they have like Oshawott. What's crazy is that when they announced this, they had like Oshawott, Rowlet, and Fire One. I don't know, but there's a Fire One, and I looked at those. I
Is
was
it
like, I love all three of those. How could I choose one? It might have
is
been
it
Charizard or something.
well, or is it Cyndaquil
Oh yeah, it's Cyndaquil. It's Cyndaquil. But that was like,
from Gold and Silver?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Cyndaquil, Rowlet, and Oshawa. I love all three of those. I don't even know how
That's
I
a good
could pick
mix.
one because, like, I feel like with each generation, there's at least one that people are just like, that like.
Yeah, they're like,
I feel
yeah, it's
like
not
even
so
with
cool.
Generation One, a lot of people think Bulbasaur is a little
Yeah.
compared to the other ones, but I don't. I really like Bulbasaur actually, but
He was my favorite when I was a kid, and I picked him. Venusaur is still my favorite Pokemon ever. But I do remember being a kid, and everyone was about either Squirtle or Charmander, and they were
mhm.
like Bulbasaurs, and I was like,
Because
no, I love Bulbasaur.
yeah, because didn't they only came out with red and blue first. They didn't come out with a green. At least not for a while, I don't think.
So what it was is in Japan, they called the original games Red and Green, but they
Oh.
renamed Green Blue for America. And I can't
Mhm.
remember why they did that, but they call it Red and Blue.
Maybe just a
Uh,
marketing option.
yeah, just kind of a marketing thing. Well, and then eventually for Game Boy Advance, so that was after the Game Boy Color, they did a remake and they called it Fire Red and Leaf Green. So
Hmm.
they like renamed it. So even though the originals in America were red and blue, when they did the remakes, they kept them red and green.
Yeah, but then like and originally like red and blue, so that just means like Squirtle and Charmander are the cool ones.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Um. What do you think about the newest Pokemon games? Because I know some people are really kind of don't like them that much. I
Yeah.
liked them. I mean, like again, it's the only one I've played. Maybe there's way better ones, but I liked them.
I think what was different was every time you went into a fight, every Pokemon in your party, as long as they didn't faint, got experience points.
Yeah, it's like an experience share, but like it's already built
Mm-hmm.
in. Yeah, I think you can turn it off because some people wanted to do that, but
Mm-hmm. Oh, you can turn it off?
yeah, I think you can turn it off in settings.
Okay. That was a new mechanic. And I remember being a kid and it was like grind. You know, that when people talk about, oh, I grinded experience, I remember being a kid and you would always struggle to make sure all of your Pokemon leveled equally because you didn't want 2 or 3 Pokemon that were really strong and then the rest of your team was really weak.
Or
You
like
wanted
your
them to
starter
be,
is like level 20 with like a bunch of level 10s.
yeah, you want them all like within 3 or 4 levels of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So the experience share built in, I think it made the game less difficult,
Mm-hmm. At
but
least less grindy,
admittedly, yeah, less grindy. But I mean, admittedly,
which
like
some people don't like, some people like.
I didn't really enjoy that as a kid. Like it felt like a chore to me.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it depends on if you're a purist or not. I'm more of the mindset like a video game should be fun. So if there's
And
an
that can mean
element of a
different
video
things to
game,
different people at different times.
that's it. Yep, that can mean different things to different people at different times. And so for me, it was like, I'm excited to play this, but I don't want to grind. Like, I just want to play through, enjoy it.
And I feel like
I
for
thought that
them,
was a good improvement.
yeah, and I feel like for them to get super successful, or at least like to keep captivating new fans, is that they should at least mix up the formula a bit, because there's like that sacred Pokemon formula of a game, which is very, very linear, and it's very, very set. You know exactly what's going to happen. There's there's always an
Yeah,
evil team. There's always a main villain. There's always a legendary. There's always a rival, and it's stuff like that. And a lot of people love that. That's just nostalgia for people, and that's just like some people like that. That's always going to be how it's going to be. But then I feel like with a lot of to get new people into it, you're going to want to change it up at least a little bit, which I think they did. They did that for Sun and Moon, which that's what I really, really want to play once I can. If they like remaster it for Switch, would be really cool. Um, which it's a pretty new game. I don't think they're gonna remaster it. Maybe convert it somehow. I don't know.
yeah.
Um, let's see what other stuff I have. Anything that's exciting for you that's coming out?
Ooh. Hmm.
Like
You know
movies
what?
or games or
Yeah. Um, do you mind if I take a quick break real quick?
oh yeah, we'll be this is a break right now. We're gonna come back to you right after this break. All right, so just a question I had. Are there any new games or new movies that you're excited that are coming out?
I am really excited about Spider-Man No Way Home.
That's a big one
Um,
for me.
really, really pumped about that. Um, the current actor for Spider-Man, I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Tom Holland,
Tom Holland, yes. He is my favorite thus far.
a gem.
Awesome. He's not only a really good Spider-Man, but he's a really good Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Tobey Maguire was a really good Peter Parker, but not a great Spider-Man. And then I think that Andrew Garfield was really good as Spider-Man, but not a great Peter Parker. I think Tom Holland is a perfect Spider-Man and Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever
So
see
I'm really excited.
Spider-Verse? Into the Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse,
That's such a great movie. It's
really
like,
innovative in its use of animation. Yeah.
and they're gonna be connecting it to No Way Home, right? I think that's what they said.
Oh, they are. I didn't know that. Oh, that'll be really cool.
They said I think they said they're connecting. Maybe it's just rumor or something. I think they said they're connecting the old Spider-Man movies and No Way Home and Spider-Verse all together.
Man, that's gonna be crazy.
Which, if it's not just a rumor, that's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be incredible.
And I saw they announced the actors for Electro and Doctor Octopus in the next movie.
And I think isn't what's his name coming back as Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man 2?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
Let me see. I'm pretty sure the Spider-Man No Way Home. Okay, it's going to come out December 17th. Yes, Alfred Molina. Okay, so Alfred Molina is Dr. Octopus, and he was Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man #2, the original movie.
What's weird is that the Dr. Octopus in Miles Morales Into the Spider-Verse is Agnes from the WandaVision series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the same actor. So that's gonna be interesting if that ever comes up. But yeah, but Spider-Verse was such a cool movie. They had such great actors. The thing is though, are they gonna have Peter B. Parker from Into the Spider-Verse 2? So it's gonna be Peter B. Parker and then Tom Holland Peter Parker and then Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Peter Parkers. So there might even be like a total of like 4 Peter Parkers. Plus,
man, that would be crazy if they did that.
Which it's kind of weird because, like, for Miles from the Spider-Verse, the voice actor really doesn't look like a kid because he's not a kid.
Yep.
That'd be kind of weird. That'd be kind of weird. Maybe I have to get different actors or something, but that's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird, and I think it's gonna be cool. I think they're gonna nail it.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. So I'm excited about that, but that doesn't come out till almost end of the year. So we got a ways to go before that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? What are you excited about?
I would say Black Widow is a big one for me because my favorite villain, super villain, is Taskmaster, which is a random one, but I really like him. Taskmaster is, you know who Taskmaster is?
No, I'm gonna look him up.
In the trailers, he's the guy that wears the mask for the Black Widow movie. His power is that he can, like, he has photographic muscle memory.
Oh, interesting.
So he can basically, like, tell what people are about to do before they do it. And he can, like, exactly copy what somebody does.
Interesting.
So a cool thing they had him do in one of the comics is that, yeah, there you go.
Huh, cool.
And he has a lightsaber, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
But what they had him do in one of the comics, it's just a crazy story that I remember from somewhere, is that he watched kung fu movies at 2 times speed and then was able to copy that in 2 times speed what they were doing. But
whoa.
The thing is though, like, he can't do it because human bones aren't made to go that speed. So he can't do it very fast. He does a lot of stuff. He's like a mercenary kind of. He does a lot of stuff for like training super villains like minions, or like just doing bounties and stuff. That's pretty cool. I think in the comics the only person he can't copy is Deadpool, because Deadpool's weird or something.
Okay.
But he's a villain in the PS4 Spider-Man game. He's like a minor villain. He's like a side quest, really. But yeah, he's pretty cool. Which I kind of hope they bring him back, but I'm pretty sure they're just gonna kill him off in the Black Widow movie, or make him like not like a big threat or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Because, like, if he doesn't die in this movie, where has he been this whole time? Just hanging out?
Yeah, I see your point. Just hanging out like on the side, if you will.
Not doing anything evil? I don't think so. I have a feeling he in the movie he might be like a shield agent because they did that with Crossbones. Maybe just a random shield agent we know. I don't know.
Hmm. When does Black Widow come out?
I think it might be next month. I think it might be July.
Okay, in theaters.
Yeah, on Disney Plus.
Okay. Are you gonna try to go see it in theaters? You gonna do it on Disney Plus? What do you
I don't
think?
know. Most likely probably Disney Plus, but have you seen the trailer for Eternals?
No, I haven't
Eternals
seen that
looks
yet.
pretty wacky.
Yeah, why is that?
There's just a lot of stuff. Well, first of all, me being a history nerd, um, just in the trailers, seeing them in front of the walls of Babylon was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Well, I don't really know a lot about them in the first place. Um, I know they're made by the Celestials, which are like the Marvel gods or something.
Mm-hmm.
They like build planets and stuff. Like Ego, um, Peter Quill's father was a Celestial. And I know that they're basically like made to help advance humanity. Like one person, and like they're all basically people like have made mythologies based off them. They're like aliens, and I think part of their like newer comics are that they forgot they had these powers and they thought they were just regular people.
Mm-hmm.
But then they learned that they had to protect humanity from people from space and stuff. I'm not too sure about them, but it looks pretty cool, and I think it might be important to the overarching like phase 4 or 5, or even phase 4 or 5 of the MCU.
Okay.
Are we in 4 or 5? Do you know?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I always forget if it's 4 or 5. Um,
Mm-hmm.
didn't they mention there's a Fantastic Four movie that they're making?
Oh, let me look. If
I
that's
think
the
they did.
case, huh?
I think they
Because I
announced
remember
making a
the original
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic
Hey,
Four
a really
movie.
yikes, really yikes.
Yeah, that was really yikes.
Um, there's definitely some there's definitely some not so positive reviews of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm interested to see how they're gonna pull it off. Also, Kevin Feige kind of teased in that investor presentation they did a while ago that they're doing a that he's going to be bringing in mutants. It's really cheeky because what he did, he waited until the very end of the presentation to say, "Oh, and I forgot we didn't even talk about mutants," and everyone was like, "Woo!" So that's pretty cool. I wonder who they're going to do to play Wolverine.
Yeah, you don't think they're going to use Hugh Jackman? Is he pretty much done?
I don't know. Um, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
I mean, he's older than the originals, but like I just don't know that anyone could ever match his brilliance as
mhm.
Wolverine. He was so good.
And also, there's that whole Quicksilver thing where they had the guy from the Fox X-Men as Wanda's brother, but then it turned out he was just some random dude. It's all very complicated. I think they might be like introducing mutants like very slowly into the MCU, or that they're going to be caused at some point in the next coming movies. Yeah. Uh, maybe just for. Do you have an idea for a segment we can do?
Ooh, um,
Something to do 30
like
minutes into the podcast. Like we just
for
did the highlight of the week one. What should we
okay,
do? And just a suggestion. You just pick one since you're a new guest.
okay. So like for future episodes is what you're
Yeah.
thinking. Okay.
It might pop up in future episodes.
You know, it would be fun. Would you ever heard of Would You Rather?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I think
Would you
that would be
rather?
kind of fun. The Would You Rather, and we could even make it like either comic book or video game themed.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would be kind of fun to
Yeah.
use the Would You Rather game, but then put like a nerd twist to it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of questions out there. Yeah. I was thinking a bit more some debate ones. I have a super fight, super fight is a game that I have where you get a character or thing or animal or celebrity or something, and then an attribute or a power that they have. So like, um, Chuck Norris, but he's invisible and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
And they have to debate who would win.
I like that. That's pretty fun.
So I was thinking maybe we could like, I mean, we're not doing it this episode because we already did our segment, but I think what we could do, the host, and our guest each get a character, and then like we debate, and then the comments can decide who won.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a cool idea for a future episode. But we've about hit our hour mark, so I think we should wrap up. Yeah. Parker, thanks for being on. Thanks for talking about some nerdy stuff with me. Thanks for watching, all you viewers out there. Please make sure to like and subscribe. So I can algorithm. I'm just gonna be using algorithm as a verb now. But yeah, like and subscribe. Make sure to check out our new episodes as they come out. Thank you for Parker for being on. Yeah, and we hope to have you on some future episodes. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I look forward to being on future episodes and talking more with you, Landon, and catching up. I love this stuff.
Yeah. Until then, I think we're gonna be signing off. See ya. Have a good week.
Yeah, you too.